Listen. Hello, hello. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Nice to see everyone. I'm not going to start saying thank you and hi to everyone, though, until I know someone gives me a shout out in the chat. 5-5, can you hear me? Yay! It worked. We made it. Oh, wow. Well, it's very nice to see you, Miss White Swan. Happy New Year to you, too. Happy New Year to everyone here. Nice to see you all. Geraldine, Dennis, pleasure as always. Braden, nice to see you. John Kins, a pleasure. Yay! Oh, we got someone here new, too. Tarika Stokes, nice to see you. Thanks for coming to hang out. Okay. So I'm hoping this might be the last Blue Fairy Origins part. This is part 5, right? Because after this part, I mean, the only thing left to talk about after this part is just all the crazy, cool experiences and experiments that I started doing when it came to dreams, astral experiences, music magic, manifestations, all sorts of stuff. I really dove in there deep because I kind of had to figure out, like what really happened? What really happened? Well, let's see what someone's saying here. I know, right? That's what I thought too, Miss White Swan. I was like, that's kind of what's happening here. I'm kind of laying it all, even though I'm not going into I'm still making it compressed for time for the stream. You know what I'm saying? So I haven't been able to add everything. But Australia. Wow, that's really cool. That's really cool. All right, see how easily I got distracted. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I am really hoping to get through this stream today clear and concise here. But I have a few other things to talk about first. I have my notes again, so bear with me. All right, we're putting that down. Okay, so there that goes. Okay. Oh, hi, Victor. Nice to see you here. Yes. Pleasure. Anyway, so today we're going to be talking about part 5 of my Blue Fairy Origins story. It's about the actual sacred marriage experience that I had, or what Aleister Crowley liked to call My Chemical Wedding, which I thought sounded kind of cool. Actually, I thought it sounded cooler than sacred marriage, honestly, or spiritual marriage in no time. That's the other thing, which reminds me I need to grab my phone and put that up here because I do actually have some notes and stuff to kind of go over with you guys to show you, save you some of the 2 years worth of other shit I had to go through in order to get to the end of what was all this that really happened. And it got laid out and explained to me through a woman called Lisa Renee, who wrote the Ascension Glossary. Okay. So she really helped me from the major parts of my story lined up with her work, quite honestly. From the very beginning, before I was even in this community or into any of this stuff, when my Soul Brave Walk-In first came to me, and they explained to me that Anubis had my heart. Well, one of the first major synchronicities that I had with Lisa Renee's work was that the Ascension Glossary specifically talked about the Anubian black heart, okay, which basically, to put it in regular terms, because I am going to read over some of the things she put on her website, but just so you know, it's like the terms that she uses, a lot of the words, it's like you have to feel into the words to try and understand them, because they're just things that aren't describing, like labeling a chair, you know what I'm saying? Like the things that she describes are very deep and complex subjects. So one of the things that she talks about is that all starseeds have what is called a permanent seed atom. I think that's what it's called. A seed atom in their heart, basically. Okay, that every starseed has a diamond heart, and they have the seed atom, okay, in their heart. And what can happen with the Anubian black heart, or with all of us, is what's possible, okay? And this is what happened to me, basically, is that through traumas and heartbreak and suffering, it shuts down the heart. And basically for me, what they showed me it to be is like getting encased in like black goo. My heart was literally encased in solid obsidian looking black goo. Okay, that was all the traumas and the suffering. And what it's meant to do is to permanently crush that seed atom. So that way that heart can't ever work properly again. Okay, so it can damage it that bad. And so that's what we had been working to do, was to free my heart from that black goo. And then they gave me a new heart, which was basically my high heart, symbolically my high heart, the blue fairy heart. Okay, and then I needed to get it activated. This is what I knew. I knew just from seeing it, from holding it, when they gave it to me in this meditation, that this heart had to be activated somehow. And they didn't tell me how it was going to be activated. They just told me I would know when it happened, right? Okay, so we're going to go into some of that. But first, I thought I would share some of the fun stuff, okay, that's been happening to me recently. Okay, so first of all, I've been slowly remembering bits and pieces of my dreams again, which is really cool. But I actually had a dream that I had almost a year ago just come full circle, which I thought was really crazy cool. I wanted to tell you guys about this. Okay, I had this dream last January, February about, okay, and I had this dream that I was hanging out with this man, and I really loved his energy. He was really like, like we were walking down the street and he was putting his arm in mine, and his energies felt really warm and loving and giggling and laughing and stuff. And he looked like Mad Eye Moody from Harry Potter. Okay. Oh, hi, Chris. Hi, Jason. Nice to see you guys. Sorry, I got distracted. Okay. Anyway, so he looked like Mad Eye Moody from Harry Potter, this guy in this dream. Okay. And in the dream, we were doing something with my car, and I got separated from him. And I thought to myself, oh, wow, I'm just never going to run into that guy again. We lost track of each other, and I was doing something with my car. And I remember being really sad actually afterward. And then we ran into each other again, and he was like, where were you? I was looking for you. And we were having a good time after that again. I was like very happy about that. And I do remember, and this was a really weird part that I held on to though for some reason, was at one point, like the wind came by and it like blew his shirt up a little bit, and I saw his stomach, and I thought that's really weird, that I had this dream. And so anyway, but 24 hours, right? For me, I thought this was like, it came into play within 24 hours, but it didn't finish until just the other day. All right. So the next day after this dream, I had to go get my oil changed in my car. And when I get to the oil change place, this guy who's working there, he's being all flirty with me, and he's chatting me up at the time. And I remember I gave him my number. Okay. And we were going to talk. We were going to hang out or something like that later that week. And I didn't hear from him again. Okay. But what was really funny was in the store, okay, at one point something happened and his shirt came up a little bit and I saw his stomach, and I immediately thought of the dream. Like I didn't connect the man, but his energy was the same energy. Okay. And so I was like, oh, okay, this is that guy. Okay. Well, again, I didn't hear from him. So just a couple days ago, I went to go get my oil changed again. And I always go back to the same place. I really didn't care one way or the other. You know what I'm saying? If I heard back from him or not at the time, like it wasn't that deep. You know what I'm saying? So I went back, and he's there again. And he's like, what happened to you? I called you. You didn't answer. And I never heard back from you and stuff like that. I'm like, what? You called? And here's the thing. If he did call me on the phone, I would not have answered. I was like, you have to text me. I don't talk through talking on the phone. What are you doing? Like, this is, what age are you living in? This text me. Why didn't you just text me? So when I remembered the dream at that point too, I was like, oh, okay, this dream just came back full circle. And then he sent me he texted me, and he sent me a picture of himself. And when I compared this picture of him to a picture of Mad Eye Moody, I'm not joking, the similarities, I shared it with my friend. Okay. I shared it with her, and she was like, that is crazy. Holy shit. Literally same shape of nose, same shape of mouth, same shape of face, same lips shape, like everything was like the same. So I'm like, okay, that's really weird. You know what I'm saying? That it got that that they compare it, you know, to Mad Eye Moody, and then it ends up looking almost exactly like him. You know, that's freaking crazy. Okay. Oh my gosh, yes. But you know what's really even funnier is that Mad Eye Moody, you know, characters obviously are very important to me. So I'm sitting there and I'm laughing about it. I'm thinking about it. I'm talking to my main guide over here, right? And he's like, just don't forget. And I'm like, what? You know? And he's like, just don't forget that Mad Eye Moody. And he starts to make this motion, like, and to unzip, he's like, Mad Eye Moody was still David Tennant. He was David Tennant in the movie. David Tennant was actually playing Mad Eye Moody. He's like, so I'm still me. I'm still the doctor. I'm still here. I was like, oh wow. I was like, you are too much. You are too funny. And he was just joking. It was funny though, because it's like, oh my God, this dream world is so crazy. So now I'm just trying to figure out one of my girlfriend, she suggested maybe my dream world is like a crystal ball. Okay. And the thing is, and immediately I thought a crystal skull is what it is, because you know, they have told me before that I actually am going to there's a version of me, I'm going to turn into a crystal skull at some point. So anyway, maybe that's where I'm getting all this Dreamtime stuff from, because I have had visions in crystal balls before as well. That's, you know, I've talked about where there was a star over a doorway with a guy standing in it, and that ended up being an experience I had, like literally looked exactly like the vision. So I have these visions. Okay, but let's go on to the next one, okay? Because now my guides are back to dropping songs, you know, because that's the thing. I live for the music. Music is my magic, and I live for the music, the songs that they're going to give me. Okay. And so the past, what was it? It was like 4 days ago. And then the next day came after. Okay. Where literally I'll wake up in the morning. And the other day they played just the intro to this song. All I could hear was the instrumental intro to this song. And it's not a song that I listen to all the time. And so they literally just said to me, everything in its right place, Radiohead. And sure enough, I go and I listen to that song later that day. It was that song. And I wouldn't have known it was that song if they hadn't told me. And that's the other thing I've been asking for. Okay. Because, you know, I asked for my guides to help. In, like, I need specific things, right? Like the thing I asked for a few years ago was discipline and diligence. And they, you know, put me through the ringer and helped me develop better, what's the word? Better qualities of that, better ability to be able to be disciplined and have diligence to get things done. Okay. So the thing that I've been asking for lately is for them to link up my audio and visual centers with astral, with outside of ourselves, you know, telepathy. And I've been getting this from, and I'll just tell you who I've been getting it from. I've been getting it from Anthony at Canadian Awareness, because as you know, that is my newest obsession. So we went and I binge watched all of his videos that I had missed over the past 2 years. I hadn't watched. See, but that's the thing. I like to, because he puts his information out slowly, you know, and I like to binge watch things. So I stocked up all of the videos and I waited, and then I just went, I just burned all through of them. And now I'm like ready for the next one. And it's like every week, it's taken like every week he's posting a new video. So anyway, he inspired me to start asking, okay, for my audio visual centers to be linked up, so that way I can hear spirit more clearly. I can see spirit and entities, whatever it is, I can hear them more clearly. And I'll tell you what, I swear to God, I had a clear as hell telepathic communications with this guy. I swear to God, I was like, it, like his voice came through and everything like that. I'm like, is this? But you always are, you know, people doubt, like, is this fucking real? What is going on? And so we were talking telepathically, and I was laughing. And because I do want to overcome my fears. I feel like I've been asking my guides, okay, let's do this. Let's help me become more fearless, help me overcome these fears, right? Okay. And so I was laughing as I was telepathically talking to him, and suddenly in my mind's eye flashed a white reptilian. Okay. And my God, I mean, I don't even know how to, I wish I could just share the image with you guys because it like had like just like teeth, you know what I'm saying? The eyes were kind of like over here on the side. It was white skin. The eyes looked like they were like black and red. I think maybe it was just a flash, you know what I'm saying? It would have been quite scary if I hadn't been in the state of laughter and happiness that I was in, you know? So, and when that happened and I saw that and I wasn't afraid to see it, and that's when he said, he was like, that's the state, that's the energetic state you need to be in order to communicate and have interactions. When you ask for interactions with these beings, right? You need to, you have to be in the state. You can't have any fear. And let me tell you something, it was glorious. It was glorious. And thinking that I might, or that I am connected to that type of energy through having a version of me be that, like, absolutely amazing. And I absolutely want to, like, I'm still here to have a human experience, right? Like, my soul braid walk-in was a human hybrid reptilian. All right. And so I want to bring forward the energies of strength and fearlessness, courage, bravery, honor, loyalty, respect, discipline. You know, I'm trying to bring in all those things on top of also combining that with my own human experience of feeling love and being a loving being, you know, and connecting to people in service to them, you know, in service to trying to help them heal and feel more love and find their own strength and their own power. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, back to the songs that they've been dropping into my head. So they said Everything in Its Right Place, okay, by Radiohead. And so I listened. They said that's the difference. Now I'm noticing that was the difference from the past two songs that they dropped off. They didn't tell me any particular phrase of it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, because I didn't know the song, so how could they repeat a phrase to me that I don't know? I'd only heard this. It wasn't even on my liked playlist. All right, so it said yesterday, like the song basically said, yesterday I woke up sucking on a lemon, you know, and the first thing I thought of was the last stream that I did where I talked about lemon grab, right? And the mountain episode of Adventure Time, where the cloud being gets basically lemon grab throws a lemon john, which is lemon candies. It's their food. Okay. He throws the lemon, the little tiny lemon, into the mouth of the cloud being Matthew, right? And then it splits up and everyone becomes separate beings again because they were really all just one being. All right. So, and then it said, there are two colors in my head. Now that's immediately made me think of the fact that I just had this interaction with someone the night beforehand, and it stood out to me that they were telling me, I was talking to them and I was telling them obviously my favorite color is blue. And he was saying, my favorite color is red and blue. And I've really been thinking about the blue flame. Okay. I've been thinking about the blue flame, and I've been thinking about the fact that, well, for one, that my moth woman, you know what I'm saying, the moth woman version of me, like, obviously she loves these flames, you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, I love the blue flame. I just want to go towards, but now there's a new flame. Now there's a red flame too. So now we have these two flames, these two passions here, and we're just going to keep circling around it, I guess, because obviously you can't touch the flame, right? So we're going to learn as much as we can and soak up as much information and healing and teachings that I need from these two flames. Okay, so that's what I felt like this song was, and we're putting everything in its right place. That's what I'm here to do today. I'm here trying to put everything in its right place with my stories, with who I am, so everyone can, so hopefully I can be understood, and hopefully I can open up this ideal, okay? But through my example, I can open that up in your mind that this is a possibility, that this can happen to you, that this can happen to others. Like, that is how we inspire each other, is by sharing it. Humans, they need those examples. They need those role models in order to be able to, usually, you know what I'm saying, to do the thing that they're seeing be done. Okay. So the next song that they dropped, they did the same thing. And that's why I feel like we are linking my audio and visual up somehow, because again, they came in the morning, first thing, and they just said supermassive black hole. Okay, they were playing the intro to that song by Muse. Now, there's one thing I've learned about Muse songs, because they've talked to me through Muse songs quite a few times. I always love when Muse songs come through, but I've noticed a pattern with Muse songs. Okay. And that is that they always come in burning bright and they burn out just as fast. It's like, that's the type of song that, because, you know, there's some songs that you'll have a spark for and it'll just never go away. You can listen to this song again and again and again. And it's like, you always find, like, maybe it might dull from time to time, but you always find that you love this one song. Okay. So like for me, the Strokes songs, I love those songs. I can go back, I can listen to them. I still love those songs. Okay. But Muse songs, they come in fast, they burn out fast. So Supermassive Black Hole, it came with a video that I thought was just fascinating. And in this video they had, because you know they speak to me through the music videos sometimes too. So it had 5 beings in this video. 4 were in bodysuits, and one was basically the lead singer. Okay, and he was also playing a guitar, and he was wearing this black outfit with a black hood, and then it looked like just like a white face. But eventually he took a mirror and he put this mirror up over his face. And honestly, it reminded me of my favorite version of the Doctor, Peter Capaldi, because he wears a pretty sweet outfit the same way as this guy in this video did. But also the 4 beings in the bodysuits. This was quite interesting. They were wearing, one was like dancing and up against the wall, drinking a cup of coffee. Another one was blending in with the wallpaper, and then another one was like reading a book with some pretty green emerald green slippers on, high heels. And then there was another one that was dressed up like an owl. Okay, and he was sitting down in a throne and he had like an owl next to him. But at the end of the video, they all unzipped their bodysuits and they all look like the universe. They all are they're stars. You know what I'm saying? And then not only do they all unzip the bodysuits and they all take off and they're showing that they look like the universe, but then they all merge and blend together. Okay, so when I felt like this was kind of, this made me wonder, okay, because Supermassive Black Hole, I thought, okay, are black holes beings? I thought, are they their own entities? Like, is this part of what they're trying to tell me? But actually, I think I understand exactly where they're coming from now, and that's going to come, and I'm going to point it out for you when I read the part of Lisa Renee's work that I came across today in preparation for this stream. Okay, and that reminds me real quick of the other thing that I wanted to mention too, because one of the other crazy weird dreams that I had, why black holes are coming up all of a sudden everywhere. Like that seems to be the black hole, black hole, black hole. I had a dream a week or 2 ago at this point, and in this dream, Chris Griffith from Family Guy was in it, and I know it was because that was playing in the background. Okay, like Chris Griffith, Family Guy was playing because that's part of what we leave running now. We pick different shows to run at nighttime because my kids get afraid and they still sleep in my room. And so we were playing Family Guy. So I had this dream that Chris Griffith was taking what looked like gold necklaces and he was tying it around a black hole. And when like he was like having to stretch it and then put it on top of this black hole, and it went shing when it locked into place or whatever. And so I ended up telling Braden here in the chat shortly after that about the dream, and it so happens that he was doing a morning meditation where he was working with black hole energy and he was making energetic chains. If that's correct, I can't remember. You'll have to correct me, Braden. He was doing something like that where he was basically putting these chains on these black holes, okay, and trying to harness the energy and be able to bend and manipulate time. This is what he was doing. You know, and I got it right. Okay, cool. Okay, so yeah, so black hole stuff has been coming up a lot for me lately. Okay, so let's just keep that in mind. Okay. So yeah, astral is something that just comes very natural for me. Going to the astral plane, it just is very easy. I didn't even know that's what I was doing. That's why I know it comes so natural, because I didn't even know that's what it was until I started having all these really weird experiences when it came to just what I thought was my imagination. I was just imagining things, right? Like, okay, I remember like the first, because here's the thing, when you close your eyes, what do you see? You see blackness, right? That's the void. That's the void from which everything can be created and manifested. Okay, the more real I can make it in my mind, in that void space, the more real I can make something, the easier it is to make it, the more attainable I know it is. Like, that's the thing. If I feel like, for me, the telltale sign for me is if something is available for me to get to it easily, is if, can I imagine that thing? How easily is it for me to actually feel and touch it? Like, imagine it in fine detail. How real is it? You know what I'm saying? Because this is the place from which you manifest everything, is your mind. Like I said in my last stream too, it's like when you close your eyes and you imagine things, okay, your brain doesn't know the difference between something you're imagining and something you're actually doing. Okay, but you really can only manifest things that you believe are possible for you to manifest. So the more you start imagining these things, the more you bring that possibility of it happening to you. All right, for instance, before I became a midwife, I thought this was really funny. You know, like, for years beforehand, okay, I literally used to, this is one of my fun things to imagine. I used to daydream about, like, I think there's this one daydream that I know, I can see it already. All right, where a woman who's pregnant goes into labor and she can't go anywhere. She can't make it to the hospital. She's in a public place, right? And she needs help right now. What are you going to do? If you're that person there, and you know, because you've been studying midwifery and you have this passion for it, what are you going to do? So I would literally sit there and I would imagine what I would do if that instance came along and how I would help this woman have this baby. I would imagine everything, the head coming out, how it turns naturally, that you got to get the shoulder out from underneath the pubic bone and you put on the baby, you know, and like, you know, and so that is part of how I manifested and knew that being a midwife was meant for me. So it's like, you have to open your mind up to daydream, to see what's possible for you even. Okay, I remember one of the first places that I ever made astrally was this blue room. Okay, I started with that. I started with just a blue room, light blue room. Had a bed in it, a desk. I put posters on the walls. I had a phone on the desk table. I had windows in it, and these windows, they always had a breeze going through it. It was always sunny there, and there was always a breeze coming through it. And I would go to this room, and I would make phone calls on the telephone, and this is how I would start actually talking to people. This is what I would imagine, you know, and I'd be like, you know, come hang out with me, you know, let's talk. We could hang out and have fun, you know, think about all the things we could think about, all the places we could imagine going, you know. And so I used to have a really a lot of fun doing this. Okay, and so, but I'm going to give you a little bit more concrete proof of how the astral appeared in real life for me, though. Okay, like, so I'm thinking I'm just imagining things, right? This stuff isn't real. This is just me imagining things. All right, well, I did briefly talk about this one quite a few streams ago at this point, and it's about January 6th, 2021? Okay, January 6th. One of my good friends was down in, you know, Washington, D.C. to support Trump and all the people who had voted for him and felt like he had gotten the election stolen from him. Okay, and I remember that this friend had posted this Facebook video, this live, and basically saying that this felt like a trap, and she was kind of scared and worried, and telling about all the different things that they had set up to try and make it harder for them. And so I was moved at the time, and I decided that I was going to get up, and I was dancing, and I was imagining the scene from Harry Potter at the end where they have to defend the school, and all the wizards get together and they all create this shield, this big bubble shield over top of the school. And so I started dancing, and I started building this shield over top of the entire area to protect all of my friends and all the other patriots and Americans that were there. Okay, and so and then, as you know, I also wanted to make the sunshine. It was cloudy and Trump was getting ready to speak, and so I wanted to make the sunshine on him. And so I was doing my dance, and I was imagining the clouds parting. I was daydreaming, imagining the clouds parting, and the sun shines on him. And it just so happens that that same friend that posted that Facebook Live, that video asking for help, she met somehow by chance, ended up getting offered a seat that was literally like in the front row or something of being able to see Trump. And a group of Christians called her over to have her pray with them to make the clouds move so that the sun would shine on Trump when he did his speech. Okay, and it did. Okay, they did. I didn't find this stuff out though till after. I didn't find this stuff out until the event that I'm going to be speaking about in a minute. Okay, but then lastly, and here's where the astral thing comes up. Okay, as I'm in astral and I am continuing to reinforce the shield, because obviously this was going to be an all-day event type of thing, so I kept going back to make sure, reinforce the shield to keep my friends safe. And I was getting a little tired, so I was asking one of my guides, I was saying, you know, would you mind stepping in for me for a little bit, because I'm going to take a break, but I don't want to stop the shield, you know, from being, I don't want there to be a break in it at all. And so as I was saying this, asking one of my guys to do this, some guy comes up, okay, to me in the astral, like someone I didn't recognize, and they were dressed up like a bull. They had this fur hat on and it had horns, and they actually had themselves presented as a centaur. He was a centaur wearing a bull hat. Okay. And he was saying, I can help reinforce the shield. And I was like, you know what? Let me just give you a little salt bath first and see. I wanted to see how he responded to that, because I've heard from Laura Van Tyne that if you do a salt rinse on the being, that that will show you based on their reaction, you know, what kind of being they really are. So I said, okay, hold on. So I did a salt bath over this guy, and he started bucking around and acting all crazy and being playful, but just weird. And so I was just like, you know what? That's okay. Thanks for the offer, but I'll just get one of my guides, okay, that I already trust and know, you know, to come and help me with this. And so he's like, okay, whatever, you know. Later on that day, who ends up coming out and showing their face and saying they're a shaman for chaotic good? You know, the guy who painted his face, right? The guy who was wearing the bull horns, okay, wearing the fur. All right, like, so I saw that guy. I knew about that guy being there already before anyone else, before he made headlines, before any of that stuff happened. You know, it's crazy. So that's when I started to realize, okay, maybe there's something real here. Maybe when I'm thinking about these things, and it shouldn't have been my first tip off. I've had other instances too where I would have a daydream or imagine something, and later on I would go and I would tell the person, okay, this is what I imagined, and I would describe the location of what I was imagining, and they would be like, wow, you just described my location. You just described my house, you know? And so I knew, okay, something is going on here. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, so yes. All right, so let's go forward now. So this is the type of thing I'm dealing with. I'm not really quite sure yet what my abilities are, but I'm having all these really weird, strange coincidences and synchronicities and things lining up, having all these weird dreams, right? We went over the big 4 weird dreams, like right before this event, right? Where they're telling me I'm going to be getting married. My wedding reception is going to be 9/17. Like, yeah, all of them. What was the other 2? I'm trying to remember. Anyway, so they told me all these things were going to happen. Not only did they tell me in these dreams, right? They were literally telling me. My guides were literally telling me. They were like, yep. They were like, yeah, you're going to get there, and, you know, you're going to find these friends, and they're going to come, and they're going to ask you to hang out, and then you guys are going to hang out, and you're going to have like a wonderful time together. And I'm just like, hold on. Because I'm not trying to get my self disappointed, you know. I'm not trying to build up these expectations of what this event's going to be, only to be disappointed and let down by thinking, oh, all this stuff's going to happen, right? You know. And so as they were telling me all this, I was like, oh yeah. I was like, yeah, oh yeah. I was like, and then he's going to turn to me and he's going to be like, oh, we've lived hundreds of lifetimes together, you know. And they were like, yes. I was like, what? I was like, get the fuck out of here. I don't believe you. You know what I'm saying? So again, they tried telling me for a long time. They tried telling me all of it, and I just would not listen. I had to prove it to myself. All right. I had to go through all the things in order to build up that belief in myself, because I I just found it very hard to believe. I mean, this is such crazy things happening, you know? Okay. So we get to the event. All right. They told me all these things are going to happen, right? And this is the one thing that I'd asked for happen. If you remember, I had asked God after asking him to clear the way so that I could go to this event for free, okay, and possibly even work it. All right. And then he made that way clear. I ended up being a volunteer there. I said that I just wanted to know what it felt like to have one person say to me, we've lived hundreds of lifetimes together, and for it to be true. That's it. I just wanted to know what it felt like for it to be true, because I've had so many experiences throughout life where, you know, something is supposed to feel different. You're supposed to feel different. You're supposed to be able to feel the truth or whatever it is. You know, it's like it's supposed to mean something, right? When I'm thinking about baptism. I'm thinking about when I got baptized when I was 8, and they said, "Do you accept Jesus Christ into your heart to be your Lord and Savior?" And I said yes, and then I didn't feel any different, and I was so disappointed. And all the questions I had about God, those people didn't even have any answers. And I was just so disappointed. Like, it's supposed to feel different, right? So I wanted to know what it felt like, because I felt so alone on this planet. You know, and, you know, if it weren't for my soul braid walk-in, I think I would have felt alone forever, right? But they were here helping me now. They were guiding me through this. They were walking me through all of this. And so I get to this event. And the people that I wanted to meet the most there were so many people that I was just so looking forward to meeting. But, you know, the people who were going to mean the most to me, they came up to me first, right? And I'll tell you my honest, craziest feelings and thoughts that I had upon first meeting someone. And this is why I feel like you have to watch out. You have to be aware of the thoughts and the feelings that come to you when you meet certain people, because sometimes you meet certain people and you'll have these natural feelings, these natural attractions, these natural thoughts, and there won't be any logical explanation for it. You know, that should have been my first clue, really, the tip off that the person that I had lived hundreds of lifetimes with was going to be these people, right? These are my people, right? But I had lived so long without any of that, and I wasn't going to let myself get my hopes up to be disappointed. You know, I was having a crazy, magical, beautiful enough time at that point that there was no reason for me to long for something else other than the thing that I had asked for, which was I want to know the feeling, you know. And so I meet these two people that are going to help me do this sacred marriage ceremony, basically. And the first thought that I had when I met the first person, okay, this was what was so weird about it, is that I had the same type of natural thought with both of these people. And it was always I don't know if I'm like growing bigger, as in I'm like became a giant and they just got littler because I became a giant, or if I shrank them down and made them small. I don't know which, but both times, like the first one, I like, oh my God, I just shrunk this man down and I just put him in my hand. And I was just like, look at this wonderful, beautiful thing I have found. Look at it. I just wanted the whole world to see it. Look at what I have found. This wonderful thing. You know, I'm like, I want not just for me to see him. I want the whole world to see him. I want everyone who is meant to be healed by this person to be drawn to this person. That's what I felt like. I love this person. I want them to be healed. And then I met the other one, okay? I met this woman, and she was so beautiful. I thought, oh my God, this is the most beautiful people I've ever seen. Why does my heart feel this way? You know? And it literally felt like Cupid's arrow just like went and it hit my heart. And I feel like what that was now, though, was the fuse. It was the fuse of what was going to ignite that blue fairy heart that I had come here to be activated with. Okay. And so I saw this woman and immediately, again, shrink her down for some reason. Shrink her down. And she turned into a little stuffed animal. She turned into a little, and I don't know why they got specific with this one, but a little French mouse. And we wrapped her up, this little stuffed animal. I was like, oh my God, I love you so much. You know what? I'm like, wow, you don't even know. You don't even know yet. I love you. And I'm going to love you forever because I already have loved you forever. And I just wanted to take care of her. And they said a word to me too. They even said a French word to me. They said, la petite enfant. And I was like, what the? Am I even saying that right? I don't even know. This is how they said la petite enfant. And so I went and I looked up what that meant. And it meant the little child. How weird is this? But it was wonderful. It was the most beautiful feelings that I could even imagine having, when you're meeting soul family for the first time, And so later on that evening, this is when it really starts to pick up. So later on that evening, I'm outside, okay, and I'm hanging out with a group of people, my friends, okay, and that was when I realized, because it was dark. You see, it was dark, and there were these red lights that were on this dock, because this was an event in Florida, right? So they had these red lights that were on this dock, and at the end of the dock, there were a bunch of cruise ships, and these cruise ships were there because of the pandemic, okay? And so they had them all just sitting out there. And honestly, that was when the Strokes song, Reptilia, started to make sense, and why that was one of the heart songs for the event. The Strokes, Reptilia, because I immediately started to shake a little bit. I immediately was like, oh my God, like, I need to tell these people. I need to tell them. I had this dream, and this dream is happening right now. This dream is coming true right now. This dream was a 3-day long event, 4 days long event here. The dream was that long. Now it's starting to make sense. I was dreaming about this event. Oh my God. And so in that song, Reptilia, the lead singer is basically like, please don't slow me down if I'm going too fast, right? Because like the whole thing, like, I got it. I felt it. You're in a strange part of this town. Yeah. It's about to get really real. Okay. And so that was the first thing, like, shaking me now. Like, oh shit. Not only did this come with all these heart songs for this event, but now I have this dream, okay, that is coming true. And this was a dream I had 4 years ago. And it was a group of dreams that I had over a couple months' time when I was pregnant with my daughter. And obviously that was originally when my soul braid walk-in happened. So it came with like a pack of these dreams. And so now I'm like, oh shit, I know what is about to happen. I know exactly what's about to happen. I knew exactly how I was going to feel, especially at the end. I knew how sad I was going to be at the end, but I also knew how happy I was going to be in the middle there. I knew how happy I was going to be. That I had found real soul family. I had real friends. Because at the time I'd had this dream, I didn't have anyone. I didn't have anyone but my children. And obviously we all know my heart was encased in the black goo at that time. And now I had done all this work to clean it up and to prepare myself. I had done all this healing, all this listening to these sound chambers and going to these classes and just really putting the effort in, asking God for help, having the meditations, where they gave me my blue fairy heart, asking for wanting to know what it would be like to have a divine masculine template that wasn't corrupted from trauma and negative experiences growing up. Like, remember I told you that board of things that work for Cassandra in the sexual way, right? It was just wiped clean. It was wiped clean, and there was nothing there anymore because my soul braid walk-in was getting ready to finish completing. We were preparing me for the imprint. Okay. We were preparing me for the imprint. And the example I'm going to use for that one, when I explain that more to you guys, is the fact that there's a Star Trek The Next Generation episode. And I've seen every single one of those episodes. I love Star Trek. If there's anything, I love Doctor Who. I love Star Trek The Next Generation. And the episode from when I was a little girl, the first time I ever saw it, I said, that's me. This is about me. I don't know why. but I thought this is about me. And it was season 5, episode 21, and it was called The Perfect Mate, and it was about a metamorph named Kamala. Okay, and how basically she was born and raised and had given all these gifts in order to prepare herself. She was going to be a peace offering between her race and the race of another world, and she was meant to be the bride to this one particular ambassador, and so she was meant to stay in this chamber for the entire duration of being transported to the home world, the new world she was going to be a part of and be married into. But something happened and the chamber got broken, and so she had to stay in, on the ship and be walking about and everything. And, everyone put up a fuss about it at first because they're like, why are we transporting a human being like this? And they were like, her race she had a guardian with her, an older man. And he's like, you don't understand, like the state that she's in right now, like she's open for imprinting at this point, and it kind of releases like a type of pheromones that like draw in men easily. And the type of abilities that she had, she was just an empath, like a really strong empath, and she was able to basically kind of change her personality depending on the person that she was interacting with. Every single person, she could change her personality. Okay, so she was left open, like she only had this window period of after coming out of the cocoon chamber that she was in. She only had a small window period of how long that imprinting was going to last. And what was important about it was the fact that she was supposed to imprint on this guy that they had arranged this marriage to create peace between these two races, right? But instead, Kamala decides to take her imprint from Captain Picard, because Captain Picard was the first man whoever made her look inside herself. He made her look inside herself. I hear someone knocking at the door. I thought, you know what? Pause for a second. I thought, I got everything here ready for me today so that I don't have to get up off the screen, not one single time. And now we have someone knocking at the door. Give me one. There are like 20 chargers downstairs. I don't believe you couldn't have used it. Ask your brothers for help. Christ almighty. I have 5 sons, 3 of whom are home right now, and they're older, 26, 21, 18. Can't you get them a charger? Get a charger for this child. My God. So anyway, one more hit, guys. Okay. Back to the story. All right. So the reason that Kamala imprinted from Captain Picard instead of the guy she was supposed to is because that guy, honestly, he didn't even really care about her. He was more interested in the trade agreements than he was her. And Captain Picard was the first man who ever asked her to look inside herself and see who she really was. Who was she when she wasn't around anyone else? What's that version of her look like? And so that's who she chose to take her imprint off of, because what a great gift, right? Like, yeah, I want to be who I am when no one else is around. I want to know what that version of me looks like without any influence of someone else's energy around me. What does that look like? That's exciting. You should want to know what that looks like for you too. That's what's exciting. When you find something that's really you, and then you want to just show it with, you want to share it with everyone. Like, that's why I'm here, guys. Like I had these wonderful, beautiful experiences, and again, I want to share it with people because they were so wonderful and they were so magical. And I want people to have that idea in their mind that this is possible for them too. This is possible. You could create these things for yourself. You can ask God for these things. You can start daydreaming about them, and God will start putting the pieces into place and walking you through it. Okay? So, okay, let's see where am I going to go jump back into here? Yep, okay. So, I was all prepared for this sacred marriage ceremony. Okay? Just like Kamala was prepared. All right? She was open for imprinting. That's what I had done. With all of this spiritual work I'd done, I had taken myself back to a place where, because I feel like that's the type of thing that happens too to children when they're, a baby, right? That critical period of imprinting, like animals do it in the wild, like the mother duckling. Okay, the ducklings follow whatever they see the imprinting, right? And if you remember, that was the thing that I asked for, probably with the most sincere and intense emotion that I'd ever really been able to muster inside of me when it came to this subject, because this is how I came up with this idea, was even because I had been doing all this spiritual work and listening to all these spiritual people talk and hearing their information. And it was when I realized by watching my daughter and her father, like, wow, I never had that opportunity. I wasn't even given that opportunity to have an imprint of what a man is supposed to be like in the world, because that's when you get into a relationship with someone, you basically are agreeing to co-parent one another in a way. You're agreeing to co-parent each other's inner child, right? And not only that, but the examples we're given when we're children is what we're going to continue to do when we're older. Okay, I'd ended up living almost the exact same life that my mom had lived. Okay, my mom had 3 children by 3 different men. I had 3 children by 3 different men by the same age that she did, basically. And then I ended up adding more to it. I ended up following her example even more. Okay. Like I'm telling, like if I went through every single thing that was the same, and that's what shook me. That was what made me open my eyes and ask for help, was because I saw it when I was pregnant with my daughter, and I thought, oh my God, she is going to go out there and she's going to do the same thing I'm doing, because that's what she's going to see. And that's what happened to me, was that this is what I saw. I didn't see any healthy interaction between a man and a woman. Like my biological father was just some guy from California who was a lead singer of a band, who loved drugs, specifically cocaine, left my mom for an older woman who had more money, like a sugar mama basically for him. And then when she found out and confronted him, he punched her in the stomach and made her try to lose me. Okay. That was the example I had. That's the first example, right? Like in the womb, you feel everything with your mother. Children feel the hormones that get released from emotional state of the inside yourself when you're pregnant. Those hormones, those things, they cross that barrier of the placenta. The babies feel what you're feeling. So this is the first experience in the womb that I have of masculine energy. And it didn't get much better from there. Okay. It didn't get much better from there. I would say my stepdad was probably the kindest when it came down to it, but my mom was married in between that. Okay, with a man who actually hit me when I was a young child, left a bruise across my face. So here I am watching my daughter, and I'm realizing, because I had 5 sons, and this was my first baby girl, like, wow, like, look how in love with him she is. Like, she don't even care about me at this point. Like, that's all she wanted. She came to me for feedings, for cuddlings, and then it was right back to dad. And it was the opposite with my sons. My sons were all about me, in love with me, and so I always try to be as loving and kind to them, because I know that this is whatever example, and I'm almost kind of afraid of it, guys. I'm almost kind of afraid when my sons bring home a girlfriend for the first time, what I'm going to see as the reflection of how I parented them. I'm a little afraid of this. Like, they haven't yet, which is also kind of a sad thing for me, but, anyway. So this is what I'd asked for. I said, wow, like, this is why I can't attract a man who would treat me right, because I don't even know what that would look like. And I'll never be able to have that. I'll never be able to have that imprinting redone. You know, like that time in my life is already past. How will that ever happen? I literally cried so hard when I had to accept that. And I remember comforting myself and just telling myself, like, it's okay. You can be there for you. You know, you can love you the right way. And don't worry about that. Can't change that, but don't worry about it because you can be there for you. And so here I was. Suddenly I had found myself in the position by some miracle that I was ready for imprinting. I was ready for that imprint of what the divine masculine template could be, what that could stand for. Okay. And apparently, come to find out, like I said, years later, that this could only be done by the man who held my rod and staff codes, which ironically enough, okay, you know, when I meet people, and if I feel like I might have a past lifetime with them, you know what I'm saying? I look to see, I use my mind's eye, and I look to see, and I ask them to show me a vision, show me an image of who this person was for me in a past life, right? And it just so happened that the person who is going to be helping me with this, the image that I saw with them was from an Egyptian past lifetime. And they were taller than me. I remember having to look up, and I just saw like a gray statue, and this gray statue was holding a rod and a staff. I just remember that sticking out prominently and just saying, like, okay, so Egyptian man, a rod and a staff, like, all right, maybe they're a king of some sort or something like that. I'm not really sure, but that's the image that I kept seeing. And so I would look and I would say, okay, well, show me who the woman was, right? The one that I shrunk down into the La Petite Enfant. With that one, show me who she was, you know, and like show me a picture. What she looked like for me. Who is she to me? You know, and they kept showing me a mirror. It was like I was in the mirror and I was looking at her, and I was like going like this, and she was just like doing this. We were like touching the glass, touching the mirror, and that's all I could see with that one, you know. But I thought this was very interesting. Pay attention to the first thoughts, and then ask them to show you who these people, who anyone was, right? And trust that first image. Trust what comes up. You know, those are just the little pieces, the pieces of the puzzle, and you just keep asking for more pieces of the puzzle. And then when you get all these pieces, because this is what would happen many times for me, I'd get all of these pieces. It's like I'm trying to fit them all together, and I would mess them up some, right? And I just get so, I'm like, you know what? Just put them all into a bag, and I would just give it to God, bring this back to me in a usable form. And then another part of it, another piece would come along that would make the other pieces line up just right. So it was like, okay, so now let's rebuild this again, right? We're just going to keep rebuilding the tower, so to speak. Okay. So we go through this 4-day event, right? The last day of this event, there was going to be a ball. Okay. And I just remember, you know, they told me all these things were going to happen, right? And all these dreams were coming true. And I was sitting at the edge of my bed in that Airbnb, and my guide said to me, "Do you see now? Are you ready?" I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know how this was going to feel. I didn't know what it was going to look like. But you know, they told me these dreams. They had given me these dreams. It's going to be a marriage ceremony of some sort. Okay. And I said, okay. You know, I imagined that the sacred marriage thing, the marriage part, right? I imagined that had to do with the divine masculine template that I'd already pieced that together, that piece. Okay, so somehow I did not realize though that I left myself open for imprinting. Like a lot of this stuff came from a lot of meditating, a lot of having to wait for the proper pieces to come into play for me to link it all together. And so, when they asked me, am I ready? Because what did I see? I was looking for my divine masculine template to be rewritten. And it needed to be written by someone who was going to be a good example of the type of man that I would hopefully attract or find one day or have a partnership with. Okay. And so the old template that was being rewritten that I saw, that I was agreeing to, what I saw in this man was someone who had integrity, who had courage, who had bravery. Like, these are the things I'm writing on the board now, guys. These are the things that are going to make me happy, going to make me excited. A man with integrity, courage, bravery. A man who actively seeks the truth, who has kindness and compassion, who's authentic, like the most authentic, genuine, willing, vulnerable, respectful, honest, working in service to God, a true respect for the divine feminine. I saw these two people and I thought, and I could feel it. Never felt a more firm and stable foundation for love than when I've been around these people. I was like, oh, ooh, this is good. This is good. A man who really wants to heal and wants to be the best version of himself. A man who wants to help others find themselves and do the same. Is that what I wanted for myself? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, that's what I wanted for myself. I said yes. I consent. And so some of the other heart songs that they'd given me that were about to come into play. Let's see. Bright Lights, Bigger City. Voulez-vous. This was a Mamma Mia type of event. They told me this was a Mamma Mia event. Okay, so what did that mean, though? What did Mamma Mia event mean to me? Well, what that meant to me was, if you remember, all the other two dreams were about me being pregnant, right? What happened in Mamma Mia? Well, the woman, she had gotten pregnant. She didn't know which guy was the father, right? And then when her daughter grew older, her daughter was getting married, and all three of these guys come back, and it's all about her finally. Do you see that? I almost fell over. Almost falling all over the place here today. But it was about, it was about figuring out, expressing her true feelings for them, and finally sharing with them and her daughter what had transpired, what had gone on. So I thought to myself, because they said this, I thought, okay, well, here I am. I'm pregnant, energetically, spiritually pregnant. I'm going to have a baby. Okay, but there's some mystery. I thought there's no, I already know who the father was, right? But I think what it really was implying too was that there wasn't just like one love interest, right? There was three. And so they were trying to act like we're playing surprise with me, but they can't keep secrets from me. So they had already told me. They had already told me everything was going to happen. So, Mamma Mia event, voulez-vous. You've done this all before, now you're back to get some more. You know what I need, right? Now is all you get. Nothing's promised, no regrets. That's what this song is singing. So for me, that meant that we had done this before. We'd done these types of things before. Yeah. Because again, I feel like it links back to that Egyptian lifetime in a way. I think this is part of what the spiritual work we used to do there, besides embalming the dead and guiding them to the afterlife. So what was the other song? Bright Lights, Bigger City. That song was basically telling me that there was going to come in a point where the guy who raps, he basically says, I need a volunteer. How about you with the eyes? Come over here, basically. Come sit down. We're going to do this magical thing, right? And then after he does the thing, the other person sings, I've got the magic in me. I've got the magic in me. Everything I touch, every time I touch that track, it turns into gold. And music is my magic. Music is my magic, people. Okay, and I'll tell you how I know. Because there's so many times where I'm trying to deliver a message to someone. And they'll tell me, oh, yeah, they'll bring it up for some reason. But this song came through And it really inspired me. It told me to keep going and keep pushing through. And I'm like, that was the exact message I was sending you. You know, like, this is part of my magic, is being able to send people songs somehow. I don't even know exactly how that works, but so this is what we're about to do. Okay? Nothing's promised. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. If it's not, it's not. I don't know. And so made my way over to this person, okay, for the moment to come, where they would say the thing that I'd asked God to have someone say that would be true for me in a way that I would feel it. I didn't trust my guides that much at that point. I didn't really think this was going to happen. So I get up and I go over there to talk to this person. And they lean over and they say, yeah, you know, we've lived hundreds of lifetimes together. Oh, shit. You know, of course, I felt it. It was true. Holy shit, this was true. Felt it very physically in my body. Felt like my legs got weak. Like, it felt like the earth was shaking a little bit. And I'm just like, oh my God, because you got to realize, for me, like, boom, 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 boom. Oh my God. every single thing, it freaking just happened. Everything they told me was going to happen. All the dreams, all the songs, all of it. Like, this has been for years building up. How? Miracles. I'm telling you. And so I can compare this now, because they told me, again, not original Cassandra exactly. You know, this was my Soul Braid walk-ins main event, so to speak. You know, this was my marriage to God. Okay, this was my rewriting of my divine masculine template. You know, boom, stamp, heart stamped, activated, fuse lit. Remember, Cupid's arrow hit me. There was a fuse. Rod and staff codes reestablished. Okay, but Spirit talks to me and has to tell me things through whatever this body and this brain already has in it. That's the only ways we can get things to it. It's hard to get new things to a person when they haven't experienced it. They don't have any framework for what the concept even is. All right, so because I'm asking, what the fuck was that? What just happened? You know? Okay, and as this new person, okay, again, and the baby was born too. I forgot to, because I should add that, right? Before this whole thing, the baby I've been pregnant with came out just like with the same person in the room as in the dream, my midwife, who was the Earth Star healer. You know, and I literally felt this baby come out of me. I could not believe it. Who feels that type of thing? I mean, only reason I knew it was because I had babies before. And I felt that ring of fire, and I felt this energetic child come out of me, this new version of myself. Okay, the blue fairy, so to speak. Right, but at this moment, the things that they told me was basically this. Okay, they compared it to the first thing they compared it to was the fifth element and the heart ignition. Okay, because the ending of it. All right, what happens at the ending of the fifth element? Well, she doesn't have any reason to live or go on. She doesn't feel like it's worth doing. Like, her mission, which was to come be the fifth element and to destroy the big black gooey ball that was coming towards Earth, she didn't even feel a need to do it, because she had seen war and she had seen abuse and all those types of things that happen on this planet, things people do to each other. And so she just like, what is even the point? And she needed to feel wanted and needed and loved, like she had a place. And surely I felt that. You know, and then what happens to her? She bursts forth with this golden light energy, and it comes out of her, and she's able to destroy the big black ball of goo, which for me links back to my most important dream. Like, all of these dreams, not just the one that started the event, not just the one with the red lights going down the dock, not just that one. Okay, the pregnancy dreams, the marriage dreams, okay, the most important dream. All of these things started to click in, because in my most important dream, that's what me and the group of people who came here was traveling to try and help. They were trying to help with this storm that was shape-shifting black goo, okay, shape-shifting, pink and black. And this big ball went into this valley that looked like China to me. It was the first place that looked like China. And I was the first one that swung down in there, slid down on a silver cord into this ball, this black ball, and I was trapped inside that black ball. They created a barrier around me in this black ball, and I was trapped there in this realm, I guess you could say, so to speak, without knowing who my companions were or where they were for 500 million years. They told me it would take me that long to figure out that everything I feared, I created. And everything as I was there in the storm, everything I feared literally did get created in this black shape-shifting goo stuff. And I had to learn to push through it and to overcome those fears. And once I did, the storm dissipated. And I was able to be with my companions again. Now here's that moment. Here's the moment. You know, it's a big fucking deal. It was a big fucking deal. I felt different. That feeling I wanted to know what when something is real and it feels different, I felt different. You know, and so the fifth element, ending of the fifth element, right? Okay. The perfect mate, Kamala from Star Trek, she imprinted. Okay. And then another one they gave me, last one I'll give you, okay, is this. Also comparing it to when Calypso is released in Pirates of the Caribbean 3. Okay, like when they go to release Calypso from her human form so that she may be in her full goddess form again. All right, the code word, okay, the code sentence, whatever you want to say, the magic words need to be spoken to her, and it has to be said to her in a very specific kind of way, okay, because Captain Barbossa, he's the first one that tries to release her from her human bonds, and he says it, and he does it all dramatically. He's like, Calypso, I release you from your human bonds, and he lights the bowl that has the stuff in it that's supposed to light on fire. It doesn't work. And that's when this other guy steps up, one of his crewmates, right? And he's like, you didn't say it right. You gotta say it right. You know, it's supposed to be spoken to as if to a lover. Okay. And so that's when he leans in, right? And he says in her ear very softly, Calypso, I release you from your human bonds. And what happens after that? Her ropes, her chains break off, and she turns into a giant woman. She turns into a giant goddess. She's been released from her human form. You know? Yeah. Big. Makes sense too. Like when you click that in with the puzzle piece of why I felt like I was shrinking them down and putting them in my hands. You guys. Maybe I wasn't shrinking them down as much as I was growing myself up, you know? And Sean Bond did tell me that I have a higher self that is as big as the universe. So, Sean Bond, gotta love him. Okay, so this was a big moment for me, guys, and I left a changed woman. I left completely different. I didn't feel like the same person anymore. I felt just in love with life, so happy, in love with the world, you know? But afterward, okay. Yeah, afterward, this is when they started to tell me more stuff about who I really am. Because I had been brave enough to share a bunch of this stuff. That's the thing. I had been brave enough to share a bunch of this stuff with the people who helped me and the people who were there. And I was really actually quite terrified to do that. I was really scared to do that. But I just kept thinking, wow, I am the luckiest woman. I had all these wonderful things happen to me. And my guides were like, you're supposed to share it. You're not supposed to just keep it to yourself. And I didn't really want to. And they were like, we have all these things planned for you. If you don't start now, those things aren't going to happen. They're like, comparing it like Back to the Future type of thing. Okay, like showing me the picture of Marty where he's looking at his family and they just start to like disappear, right? And they're like, if you don't start now, you never will. You'll never open your mouth. Farther away you get from this moment, the less likely you are to share it. And I was like, that's absolutely true. They're absolutely calling me out. Like, okay, you know. And they said, you know what this is like? This is like the movie A Dangerous Method. And I said, A Dangerous Method, right? Like, okay. And don't forget, we are going to go back to that. I'm going to read you some of the things from the Ascension Glossary that lined up. And I feel like will help make this make a little bit more sense. Or at least help, again, open your guys' mind up to the possibility that this is the truth about how everything started, right? The Christos realignment mission is really what it's all about, right? Bringing back the Christed consciousness into the vessels. Okay, igniting the hearts. You know, that's one of the things that I love about the Muse song Starlight. That's one of the main messages that I have been asking my soul family after this event happened. And when this song finally came along to me, it had the most perfect phrase in it. And it said, let's conspire to ignite all the souls who would die just to feel alive. Because that, I feel like, is what people are really wanting, that meaning. You know, they want to feel like they mean something, that life means something, that these things that they're going through, that they have a deeper significance, that it means they're connected to God. And they're connected to something bigger than just the human vessel. You know? So they told me it's very much, they said it's like a dangerous method. Now, again, I had not watched this movie in years. I did manage to go back and rewatch it, like, I think a couple of years after they even compared it to this, because I only had pulled from it when they said they compared it to Dangerous Method. I only pulled from it what I could remember about the movie. And so this is what I thought was so interesting. This is what this movie is about. Okay. It's about Carl Jung. Okay. Carl Jung and his wife and this woman named Sabina Spielberg. Okay. This is based on a true story. All right. And it's about how, well, let me just tell you that one of the opening scenes that they come up with, all right, is Carl Jung. He's talking to his wife, and he would come up with hypothetical cases. Okay, you know, like how you just make it in order to study, like this patient is, and they're presenting with this, and this, like what kind of treatment, like a soap note, what kind of treatment would you do? And so he had come up with this hypothetical woman, and the woman on the hypothetical case name was Sabina S. And it just so happens that the new patient that came in to the facility that he was working in, her name was Sabina S. And so his wife points that out, and she's like, maybe this is the person you're supposed to try the new healing method that you've been working on with. Maybe this is the talking cure that Freud came up with. And so he's like, wow, I hadn't even thought about that, wife. You're right. Let's go see if we can try this new method of treatment on her. All right. And so this talking cure helps Sabina basically find the links from her previous childhood traumas, all right, and experiences. And it helped to discover where those traumas led to destructive behaviors, okay, and how those destructive behaviors, things, how it ended up creating things in her life, the problem thing. The reason she even ended up there, was because she had these unhealed wounds. And so this is the first person he used this talking cure on, and it worked. Eventually it worked. And not only did it work so good, but he ended up giving her a job, a role, to help him in his research experiments with other people, which was like the experiments that she was helping him do was calling someone in, and he would say a word, and you would have to say the first word that comes to your mind, and she would clock it. Okay, and then you would look at the words and their reaction time and figure out, like, okay, like, what is this telling us about this person? Are they holding back? What's the deeper connection there? Why are they thinking this word first? Okay, this eventually inspired Sabina to become a doctor of psychology herself. And with her work particularly focusing on the creative and destructive forces of human sexuality and the way childhood experiences and traumas have an effect on behavioral patterns in adult life. I'd already been kind of doing that a little bit, but it was after them comparing it to this that I really dove into it to see, okay, is there truth here? You know what I'm saying? Okay, in the long run, Sabina and Carl Jung ended up being lifelong work companions. You know, and even when he got down in the dumps, like his lowest, when, you know, Carl Jung, he gave up at one point. He didn't even want to keep going. Like him and Freud had a falling out. And so he's like, I don't even want to live. What's the point anymore, you know? And his wife called Sabina back and was like, you need to help me with the doctor, you know, like, help me. He needs inspiration. And so that's part of what they do. They work together to inspire each other to keep going on and doing this work. And so I thought, okay, so this is what I'm doing here. I am working with my soul family to try and help discover how experiences from the past, childhood traumas, how those lead to the repeated patterns that we keep experiencing today, drawing them to us, because I found so many. Like I was able to, like when you, okay, and here's how you find them. I'll just say this real quick. Like the way you find them is the memories are going to be there. You're going to be able to remember that time that, this is like the time that Susie took that piece of food from off your tray at lunch and embarrassed you or said something stupid, like said you were stupid, and like you remember it. It still burns you today. You know, you think about it, you're like, oh, you know, that bitch, you know. Those types of experiences are where you're going to find these things. Okay. And when you find one, let's say you find one, oh, I remember this trauma and it happened back when I was in my 20s. You know what I'm saying? Keep looking. Put it back into the fire again. Put it back into the fire again. Okay. You should find another one. And say, now that one comes back to your teenage years. Okay. Okay. Now go back further. Go back before you were 10 years old. Can you find that pattern there? Can you? And the pattern will be identified by the underlying emotions. Okay. Like for me, it was rejection. Rejection, shame, humiliation. And my spirit, we found ways of repeating that pattern again and again. So I was able to stop and with this new knowledge, look at it. Okay. And now we can heal that. Now we can work on correcting that. You correct it by telling yourself, being the adult you are now, and telling that child version of you what the truth was. You know? Like, what was that truth? Like for instance, the name calling one. Well, the truth was probably that person also was called that thing, because where did they learn it as a child? Where do children learn those things? They learn it from their role models, their caregivers. So just know if some, know from back then, explain yourself back then. Well, that came from that person being treated that way. And that's why they ended up treating you that way, because they had their own insecurities. And it really had nothing to do with you. Nothing is ever personal. And you start doing that, and you just keep working at it, and you just keep going. Okay, so yeah, let's see. My divine masculine template was restored, indeed. Yeah, so I will briefly just share with you, because like I said, the Nubian Black Heart was the first main synchronicity that I had from Lisa Renee's work. And after I read a little bit of this, guys, I'm going to stop with this part of the stories, right? But I am going to be back, because now we're switching over into like the aftermath, basically, and because now I have to figure out what the fuck was real and what wasn't. I need to know. I need to figure it out. So I'm going to have to get to work, and I'm going to have to start running these experiments and figuring out, okay, what is what? What are my abilities? What am I really capable of? Okay, how do I use this music to make magic? How do I use that? How telepathic am I? What's this astral stuff I be doing? And why is it showing up in real life? If it's just my imagination, why is the thing showing up in real life? Why is it that the things that people think and feel that I think, oh, you know, when I imagine that person, if I ask them about something and I imagine, okay, this is what I feel like they would respond as, and then you go and you ask that person about the thing, and then they give you that response. It's like, okay, does that work every time though? How do I make that work every time? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, these are questions I start like waterfalling, the like cascade of questions. How does this all work? Okay, how does this time travel stuff work? You know? Okay, so my heart needed to be healed, right? That was what this all started, was them showing me my heart encased in goo, right? The black goo. Right. So I went back to Lisa and Renee's Ascension Glossary, and I was just, because I told myself, and Spirit guided me, they said, you need to look up the Solar Feminine Melchizedek stuff again. You need to look up the Sacred Marriage stuff again. You need to reread that for the stream. Okay. And now it made sense to me why they brought me the song Supermassive Black Hole. And when I read this stuff to you, I'll stop and I'll point it out for you exactly what I was seeing with this. Okay. So, so this is on the Ascension Glossary. Okay. It's under higher heart healing. Okay. Because that's what got healed. My higher heart got activated. All right. It says, when our heart is healed, when our heart is healed, there is a fire that is ignited inside the heart. Oh, stop for a second. Just want to remind you, when that moment happened, again, they compared it to these things, the fifth element. Think about it. She was basically radiating out golden light. It also reminded me of the Doctor regenerating, right? When Donna went to go reach the hand, and we had the double Doctor incident, right? Okay, the golden light, because the golden light comes out of a person when they regenerate, right? There's something to that. That's the Christ light. The golden light is the Christ light. And I think that was why it was so important for me to have the golden, that's what that represented for me, the golden wedding dress that I had. That was the Christ light that I was about to be ignited with. Anyway, going back. So when our heart is healed, there is a fire that is ignited inside the heart that is assessed. That is accessed. Apologize, guys. And the fire in the heart is also in the kidneys. There is a triangle that connects the heart into the kidneys. The kidneys are in the base of the triangle from left to right, and the point of the triangle is in the heart. When the heart is healed, there is a twin flame ignition in our heart and kidneys, which shifts the heart configuration. Twin flames equals structure of light within the heart. I feel like she did a little typo there. So twin flames ignite in the heart. The monad is the greater flame, and the physical body is the lesser flame. When the dual flame is ignited, there is an ignition in the heart and the fire coming into the kidneys, which is about blood cleansing. The monadic spark starts to connect the permanent seed atom, which is the Christed consciousness silicate matrix, and the instruction set for our crystal body. Now, stop, pause right there again. One of the, I believe names are very important. I believe we pick our names before we even come here. Okay, my mom had 2 names. My mom's also very psychic. It's part of where I get it from. Okay, it comes in our genes. And she wanted to name me one of 2 things, Crystal, okay, or Cassandra. I'm glad she chose Cassandra personally, but anyway. So Crystal, okay, the crystal body. This is the seed that This is the seed that the controllers are attempting to crush or stop from flowering in the human population. They want to crush the permanent seed atom in the thymus gland center, which is the 8th chakra, which is where the monad starts coming in and actually connecting into the body. The damage of the diamond heart manifesting into an Anubian black heart damages the permanent seed atom. And what manifests is the monadic reversal or the menotrotic reversal. Okay. Yes. So that's one part of it. I thought that was fascinating. Okay. But then the next part, and I'm just going to go to the actual website for this one. Because again, I will save you guys more live streams just to get to this part, because it took me, like, again, I had to go on a little adventure. I had to discover what was that happened for me. Okay. And they kept breadcrumbing me this whole time. They're telling me little things. They're dropping little hints here and there. They're saying, you're sometimes called a diamond Melchizedek. A Melchizedek diamond. I can't remember which it came first, but you're a Melchizedek diamond. And I thought, what the hell does that mean? You know, and I went and I would look it up in the Ascension Glossary, and sure enough, it would be there. And so then at one point they told me, I started hearing the word genetic equal. So I said, you know what? That's what we're going to do. We're going to manifest my genetic equal. That's what we'll do. That feels good, because twin flame, that word's been corrupted. The concept of it has been tainted. So I don't really know the difference between that one or not. So we'll manifest a genetic equal. I thought this was great. Okay. And then my spirit guides, after I did the actual manifestation, wrote it out, right? Did my manifestation page like I do. And wrote it out, sent it out there. And then my spirit guides are like, you know, you should probably look up what genetic equal means. You should look it up. I'm like, you should look it up? Yeah, we should look it up. Okay, look it up. So that was when I came across the solar feminine Melchizedek, and that's why I have that in my profile. But this is basically what it says, okay? And this is a bit of a long one, so please bear with me, but I feel like you'll feel it. You'll feel the message behind it, okay? So this is supposedly why we're here. You know, anyway, this is how we came here. This is why we're here. So it says genetic equals and solar feminine Melchizedeks. In the first waves of physical creation, the Paladorian races entered the earth together as genetic equals that originally manifested into full adult forms, which was in a spiritual family of 12 humans with 6 females, and 6 males. Okay, so all right, remember my most important dream. I came here with a group of people. I could see us lined up, like on each side, all of us with our silver cords. Okay, the original seeding of the 5 Paladorian races represented the first 5 race lines that include all of the current Earth human skin colors: brown, red, yellow, black, and white. During physical incarnation, these 5 race lines entered the Earth in various geographical locations near their race line's main Stargate system, and the same number of 12 humans were also manifested upon the timelines of the parallel Earth. These are the first original Earth human lineages in which the collective Earth inhabitants have manifested into and evolved from over millions of years, along with the future lineages of its several subraces. The original races that were able to maintain the integrity of their genetic coding as they incarnated into each of the race lines were able to ascend with their immortal bodies through the Amenti Gateway. Okay, now if you remember, my soul ray walk-in told me from the beginning that we were immortal beings. Okay. And if you remember from the dream I had, okay, the kiss dream, right? Where I was shown the Holy Grail star, right? To me, what that meant too was I've met another immortal. Okay, another immortal. Okay. The original design of the divine human body was immortal and able to dematerialize in order to travel through natural stargates. The original Earth human civilizations were thriving and abundant by following the Emerald Founder Records teachings of the Law of One until the Anunnaki infiltrate the human culture, which created rapid genetic digressions. This rapid digression ultimately led to the final victory of the extra-dimensional invaders during the Luciferian Rebellion. Subsequent to the Atlantean Cataclysm, the Keepers of the Blue Flame and the females with the original staff holder genetic codes underwent a series of genetic digressions, breeding programs, and deliberate targeting to disrupt their solar feminine principle by connecting the female principle and the human light body into the lunar matrix, into that fake fucking satellite we got up there, guys. By destroying the solar logos architecture and inserting a lunar matrix to hold the energetic placement of the planetary female principle, this lunar distortion would prevent the natural rod and staff genetic principles from activating in the human DNA. The first staff holders were originally embodied as solar feminine Melchizedeks, and each of them had a genetic equal male partner that embodied the reciprocal rod masculine principle. Thus, were genetically key-coded to the rod holders. Over the course of many incarnations, the original solar feminine Melchizedek and the Sophionic principle of the earth rapidly digressed into the lunar distortions and dark mother reversals, which fragmented and captured the solar aspects of her original identity, pulling them into the black hole to become trapped within phantom systems. Black hole, supermassive black hole. You remember what I said about the video? 4 beings. Okay, and they all were one being. All right, and they were stars. They were star people. They were. So let's keep going. This Palladorian soul would have to incarnate as a female and work to activate the 12-strand DNA template within her light body by reconnecting with her original Melchizedek or Palladorian identity before being able to fully embody the blue flame again. Until she embodied the blue flame and activated the staff codes of her original solar feminine, she would be unable to find and attract her genetic equal partner. Her genetic equal held her matching rod and staff genetic coding from the first seeding, and she would need to remember her mission to act as the main spiritual catalyst for help in activating and building the rod in herself and her partner. Also, she would have to wait several lifetimes during the Dark Ages for the end of the ascension cycle, when planetary frequency would be high enough for the staff codes to be reclaimed and activated safely. These specialized groups of genetic equals would carry the original Palladorian seeding genetic coding packages and would need to incarnate on Earth within the aligned timeline cycles and within specific family of origin lineages that would give them the necessary genetic imprints in order to fulfill the Christos mission of gradually embodying the entire herogamic package of rod and staff codes. The rod and staff coding would ignite in the genetic equal, who would be reunited once again into sacred marriage couplings during the ascension cycle, and whom had retained the genetic code of their original Christos blueprint. Together in herogamic union, the coupling would be able to retrieve the original Palladorian seed codes from the pre-fall timelines of humanity, incarnational history. And I've talked about that before, like before the fall, like kings and queens actually cared about the people and did what was best for them, right? Now that did not happen anymore. The fall happened. Okay, so that included returning back via consciousness transport to the historical timelines before the invasion, the timeline of the pre-fall Tara and pre-fall Lyra. The particular mission upgrade for the reclamation of the Christos mission began during the rise of the Palladorians event during the end of 2017. How many of y'all started activating after 2017? In order to prepare the Earth body for a series of ongoing cosmic blueprint restoration projects to repair the architecture and to reclaim the stargates. This reclamation of the Earth grids has begun. The next stage of embodiment of the cosmic origins of the solar feminine Melchizedek staff codes, which resurrected the mother principle into the Sophionic template, which further transfigures the lunar woman into her true identity as the risen solar feminine Christ. The lengthy process of repairing the Earth grids to ignite the blue flame staff codes of the solar feminine Melchizedeks and then activate the Ark of the Covenant networks and the Ark zone into the Earth body has required an incredible amount of intricate planning and orchestration, no doubt. This has required massive team effort on behalf of many Christos mission team representatives, and that has spanned multiple dimensions of time and into multiple incarnations that include the parallel reality. So there's a parallel reality we're working with. After millions of years traveling in the evolutionary cycles of this fallen time matrix, the great work of retrieving the solar feminine Melchizedek from the black hole system has been achieved. So we have rescued those parts of us. The next stage of the great work is to fully embody the staff codes and send out the call to our genetic equal that holds the rod codes, thus embodying the true destiny of the divine feminine on the earth as a fully realized solar feminine Christ. So I put out the call. I put out the call. And it was answered. Okay, but what about this sacred marriage thing, guys? Bear with me a few minutes longer. I promise. Only got a few more of these little things to read. Okay. But this is what it says about the Hieros Gamos. Okay, the wedded garment of God, wearing the white robes of the One. Hieros Gamos refers to the risen Christos Sophia and the embodiment of the inner hierogamic union between the human being and the divine. Hieros Gamos is the full resurrection of the body to the eternal light of Christos, cosmic Christ consciousness. Basically, it brings you back to the 0 point, right? The light body being is one with God, and the Christos body is glorified in its perfection as a representative of God's eternal light image. Okay, so apparently there were 3 levels of a sacred marriage. So you guys, there's more than one level to the sacred marriage. Okay, there's 3 levels you have to go through, which I went through all of them. I didn't even know I was going through all of them until after this. I didn't even know this was one. Anyway, the first level is called building wings. The second level, this is crazy, guys. The second level of the sacred marriage is building of the blue crystal lotus heart. It's like, maybe that's why they gave me the blue fairy heart. Okay, the crystal lotus heart. All right, because when it spins, that's what it becomes. It becomes that crystal lotus when it spins. Anyway, level 3 of the sacred marriage, though, is the Hieros Gamos, the hydroplasmic liquid light of the risen and embodied Christos principle. It even talks about the level 3 talks about the solar egg, the Buddhic egg, and the cosmic egg, which made me think of being pregnant, quite honestly. It says for the cosmic egg, it says Christos embodied monad twin or genetic equal synthesizes the solar or lunar light, which is then integrated and embodies the cosmic Christos avatar of liquid aurora light, the double diamond sun body. Woo! Hieros Gamos crown. One, you get to crown. I felt it. Let me tell you something. After last week's clearing, or this week, is it still the Sunday's clearing in the Blue Flame Collective, I literally felt my entire head right here just open. It was like I was wearing a crown. I literally kept trying to take a hat off because I kept feeling like there was something on me. It wasn't. It was the energy, the spiritual energy. I can feel it when it comes through me. You know what I'm saying? You actually feel it. Feels warm for me. Feels warm. Feels like a fire. I can feel it start coming. I feel it run up my body. All right. It gets bigger in certain places. So it starts running up. Wow. That's how I can tell how open my chakras are. Okay. Click. Got that. Anyway, so I can feel the energy coming up. All right. And when it gets to here, it actually funnels into this part right here. Like it's bigger right here, the flame. Right. And then it starts coming back up and I can feel it like a fireball in my mouth. Okay. And then we just push it. Just push it. Just push it up. Push it up. Push it up. And push it up and around. Up and around. Yeah, just push it up and around. So it's like you see that little cobra thing, you know? It means your third eye is open whenever you're awakened. So let's see. Is there any more other part of it I wanted to read? I think this was the last part, and then we'll get on to it. Okay. I think the last part was this, the perfect balance. Herogamic union. It says, men and women of this earth, you are both genders and influenced by these forces and archetypes through the law of gender by seeking inner balance through the perfect union made between the masculine and feminine forces. The consciousness is made into the image of God through the herogamic union of the inner Christos Sophia. This is represented in spiritual alchemy of unified polarities, the herogamic union of a god and a goddess, the perfected being, which what was the fifth element called? She was the perfect being, right? Perfect. The perfect balance and union between masculine and feminine principles united in as one in our true destiny of spiritual freedom. There was one more part too that I wanted to point out, but I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to remember what that one part was. Bear with me for a second, guys. I'm just glancing through this. Yes. Where it's like, oh, I know where it was. Okay, yeah, I remember now. Pretty sure it was up in here. Yes. Okay, so this is the last part I'm gonna read, and then we're gonna go on. All right, so the last part I'm gonna read is this: the 3 stages of spiritual development in 3 levels. Stages of spiritual development in 3 levels. Okay, it says there are distinct stages of the spiritual body development in relationship to the energetic merging of these polarity of forces that directly impact gender centers. The integration of these forces is that which results in the integration between the masculine and the feminine counterparts existing within each triad. Currently, the blueprint restoration of the Trinity architecture that is necessary to unite spiritual marriage at all 3 evolving levels is being supported by the planetary logos. Is this it? I saw the word for a second. Yeah, okay. These changes, the natural, okay, yeah, I'm not talking about that. Like, they're making, I can tell they're like being real specific to let people know, like, you can be both man and woman on the inside, you know. Are we going woke in this Ascension glossary? I'm not, probably not, but she's trying to be specific. So, yeah, okay, I remember now. I remember what it was. Okay, yeah. This is the last part, guys. I promise. I remember exactly what it was that I wanted to read, and it was about the spiritual marriage in no time. Okay. Okay. Oh, I think I actually know exactly where I can get it. Because I want to read that part, because that part was what? Like, oh, shit. Right? Did we just go off with it altogether? Okay. The sacred. So anyway, Ascension glossary. Yeah. All right, there it is. Found it real quick. Yes. So okay, here it is, guys. This is the last part. I keep saying that, but it's for real. It's the last part. The spiritual marriage in no time. And it just shows you, okay, just shows you a picture. I'm going to show you it too. See? Gold. The golden light. Golden light. Da-da-da-da-da. So the crystal star template, of which was previously referred to as the spiritual marriage in no time, has returned to the Earth Logos in 2012 through the alchemical restoration of the Heros Gamos. Connected through the Unity Logos, a guardian project to rebirth the planetary Logos, Heros Gamos, or Hirogami, is a sacred marriage of the human being with divinity, the inner spirit, and the unification between all life expressions and its level of opposites. From the guardian perspective, spiritual ascension compromises the science of the spirit, encompassing the entire creational mechanisms of how spirit and matter travel through time and space. A certain level of frequency conjunction within the spiral of time, access to possible new DNA templates and therefore embodiments. The planet has reached that access in time. So we are at that access in time right now, guys. Hieros Gamos is the sacrament that represents sacred marriage at the individual level, to the relationship level, to the group level, as a part of spiritual ascension, moving through the spiraling staircase of time to experience unification with or marry all aspects of God. When we marry God through this sacrament, Christos Sophia returns in our sacred crystal heart, the diamond heart. Yes. And that is it. That is the last part. So I'm not going to say it was easy. It wasn't easy. It's deep stuff, yes. I haven't even been able to look at the chat at all because I didn't want to get thrown off. But I want to say thank you to all the people that I haven't gotten to say hi to. Yeah, I see Barry, you talking about Doctor Who now. How about that fourth Doctor? I know, Barry. Oh, I love that fourth Doctor. I'm like, damn, is there a version of the Doctor that isn't a fucking sexy beast? Jesus, God, so good. My God, that fourth Doctor, he really brought it. Man, he really brought it. I can see why you really like that Doctor the best, Barry. I watched the fourth Doctor this week with my son. I watched the whole creation of the Daleks, basically. I understand them better now. I'm just like, holy shit, how did Peter Capaldi's version of the Doctor get me to feel sorry for fucking Davros, okay, and the Daleks when I saw how he created them and the original? I'm like, oh my God. But you know, Peter Capaldi, he has such a sensitive heart, that one. He really does, you know. Hello there, Astro. Nice to see you. And Terry, Chris, happy to see you guys here. Matthew, and Honora in the background, I'm sure. Hi, guys. Sorry, I'm just briefly looking at the chat now for a second. Yes, Victor. Oh my gosh, you really picked up what I was throwing down. Yes, a rod and staff like the Egyptian guy in the vision I had. You know, I actually, that was not a good lifetime. And that was part of the reason I felt like I came back and held on to it so long. I did this like Arya Stark thing. I was like, you know, because he was killed. That's the thing. He was killed. He not just killed, you know, like decimated. There was no body to bury afterward. That was how bad it was. And those type of traumas, they stay with you. You know, I'll tell you how I figured it out. It came from a Game of Thrones episode. You know, because I knew when I kept leaning in to that vision of the Egyptian guy, I kept saying, like, well, show me what happened. Why am I even looking at this lifetime? You know, what happened in that one? And so they started to draw my attention to other little things that I'd experienced in the past. And one of them was when I watched this episode called The Mountain and the Viper in Game of Thrones. You know, the episode where Oberyn basically gets crushed, demolished by the mountain, right? I remember that scene when it happened. You know how that woman, his lover, screams, right? She screams like she really deserved a fucking Oscar for that one. She screamed in a way that was like so real, so sincere. And I just remember I screamed too. I did the same thing. When it happened, I screamed too. And I was crying, hysterically crying. And I was married at the time to my second husband. And he was there with me. And he was consoling me. And he was saying, like, it's okay. It's okay. It's just a show, you know. And I shook him. And I said, you don't understand. I said, things like this really happen in the world. Things like this really happen to people. I didn't know why. At that point, I was still very much asleep to the shit in the world. So it was kind of interesting that I felt that way at the time, you know. And then when I would lean into that vision of the Egyptian gray statue, when I would lean into that and try and see more, I would be wall of tears. I called it a wall of tears because I couldn't get through it because I would cry. I would just cry. And I'm just like, why? You know? But yeah, I remember, yeah. I don't want to remember any more of it than that. That was what I told them. I was like, okay, I get it. Like those types of things get genetically imprinted upon you. You know, they stay with you. And, you know, to kind of flip that in a way, I feel like, this is really terrible to say, I feel like that's kind of what needs to happen in the world a little bit now when it comes to child monsters, you want to say? Like, I don't want to say the word, because I guess I heard that, you know, it triggers AI just to even say these types of words, but people that would hurt children in the most disgusting and depraved ways. You know, like if we took that as serious as it should be taken, okay, what we need to do is bring back public hangings. I'm telling you, public hangings, put them in a fucking wood chipper. There's this guy I watch called JD DeLay, and he's this guy, this manly man, right? And he comes and he's like, when he talks about, he presents these cases, he tries to call out people that are on those lists and stuff like that. Like if they're on YouTube and stuff and they're on those lists, he wants to kick them off of there, you know, especially if they're actively being predatory and you can see it through their channels and stuff like that. And he's always like, wood chipper, you know, he like screams at wood chipper. And I'm just like, yeah, like that's the kind of genetic imprinting we need for that type of behavior. You know, instead we give them what, a couple fucking months here and there. Nothing what is equivalent to what those children endured. They did, yes. So things like that, they can imprint. Things like that can, and I think humanity needs a good imprinting when it comes to this type of behavior. They need a good imprint. Boom stamp. Wood chipper! Feet first, slowly. You hurt a child. You hurt. Do I talk about that real quick? You know, I'd be saying things, right? Nima, I knew it was you, Astro. I had a feeling it was you. I think Barry left. I wanted to talk to him more about the Fourth Doctor, but he left. Oh well. I'll text him later. Yeah, no, we'll talk about that one today. Talk about it next time. Oh, you're still here. Hi. Yeah. That's funny. I'm pulling my cards out. I don't know if I want to talk about that. Yeah. You know. Yeah, I did forget about that part of it too. Okay. Yeah. It worked, right? It worked. He's still here. Hey, Barry. Yeah. Someone else that I can share my love of the Doctor with. Especially now that I'm actually getting into the Fourth Doctor. Oh, you know what we need to do first before I do the Firefly? God, I know there's something I'm forgetting. I'm just trying so hard to bring it back. But no, I guess, yeah. So anyway, next time we're going to talk about the dream experiments. I'm talking about next time. Talking about the dream experiments. It's going to be exciting stuff. That's funny. I didn't know Peter Capaldi was a fan of Tom Baker. I feel like I should have known that. Yeah, now you got to watch one of Peter Capaldi's episodes. I watched. You know how many episodes I had to watch The Creation of Daleks? It was like a 6-part freaking, a 6-parter. 6 or 8? I don't remember, but it was a lot of parts. I was like, wow, it's going to keep going. David Tennant was also a Doctor Who fan. You're right. I do remember that. Yeah. Yeah, we are going to do a whole show here where we go over different Doctor Who episodes and more concepts of it. Like I've mentioned this before, but I really want to get into River Song's story and how crazy that is, because you know they do some fucking crazy shit to her before she ends up getting back to the Doctor. But I also want to tell you, like I always think about the Weeping Angels. You brought up the Weeping Angels episode because that one gives such a good example of time paradoxes and how crazy time traveling can kind of get. You don't even know what happened first, the chicken, the egg, which one happened first, right? With the Weeping Angels. Which one happened first? You know, I actually met what was his name? Captain Jack Harkness. I met him in person at a Comic-Con. That was pretty cool. Yeah. Wow, you got a picture with him? Oh my God. Yeah, I think that's his name, John something. I can't remember. He signed a thing of ours we had at the time. It was so many years ago, though. I want to see the picture, Victor. I want to see the picture. I want to see it. Yeah, I do want to see it. But yeah, is there any other Doctor Who stuff you want me to talk about here, Barry or Victor? You can, or like just like suggestions for future shows. If there's a particular episode that you like, you want to go over. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm more than down to do that. That would be super sweet. Like, I do want to go over the creation of the Daleks, because you could clearly see that they were simulating, they're replicating Nazis. You know, you could see that's what they were taking a stance on. They were talking. That's what they were supposed to represent. My God. Terrible. Like, I was never really afraid of the Daleks all that much. I didn't really understand, like, why are they so afraid of the Daleks? You know what I'm saying? Now I understand. Yeah. Yes. The actor of Captain. Yes. I'm pretty sure that was his name. And he's in Torchwood too, right? Peter Davison fan. David Tennant was a Peter Davison fan. Okay, that is in the Christmas special around 2006. Okay, I don't know. Peter Davison must be another one. So he didn't like the Fourth Doctor, like Peter Capaldi. He liked a different one. That's funny. That's funny. I wonder if it inspired him to be more like that version. And maybe Peter Capaldi was inspired to be more like Tom Baker. Maybe that's why you like that one and I like this one, because they're basically a version of the Doctor that's very similar in personality-wise. You know, maybe. Anyway. Okay, I actually got to clear my energy field. And you know what's the last time we pulled tarot, I definitely can see now, like how I literally have to make sure that my own stuff is cleaned up inside of me before I pull them, because absolutely I was just pulling for myself last time. I was not pulling. I felt like for the collective, really, I was pulling for myself. I mean, you guys might have related to it somewhat, but I could tell. And I was like, okay, make sure you come back and that you are able to clear your mind and your energy in order to pull the cards. All right, time to look at fortune cookie. Yeah. You ready? Yeah. Yep. Oh, I see the symbol. Yeah, I see the symbol. What does the collective need to hear? What do you guys want to tell the collective? Oh, this one. He was the sixth Doctor. Okay. What does the collective need to hear? Ready? Your positive energy on this Wednesday will inspire those around you. Your positive energy on this Wednesday will inspire those around you. Okay? I love it when they give us specific days to look forward to with the fortune cookies. That would have been funny if it was today was Wednesday. That would have been funny. Okay. See, I got my little pen out. Barry, you see that? Barry inspired me to get pens like this. For all the cool pens that he has in his videos. I'm like, yeah. Welcome back, folks. Got some interesting food for thought for you today. Okay, let's see. Let's go ahead. Okay, I'll check it. I will definitely check it. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're fine, Barry. You're fine. No need to apologize. Yeah. Request. Yes. Message. Spirit has message. Yes. They're talking to me already. We're clicking in. We're locking in. Message. Yeah. I feel lighter. I feel good. I feel more empty. There's more room in here. This is good. Okay. All right. So here we go. That's the first part. That's the first part of the message. First part. Whee! We got the Three of Cups. So this is a celebration. This is a gathering. This is an event. This is some type of coming together, a group of people, and celebrating for whatever reason. They got drinks here. So, I mean, if you're looking to go out and about and hang out with your friends, this is a good sign. This is saying, yes, this is, you guys will have a good time. Feel free to raise a glass, raise a toast. You know, time to cheer. The mission has been accomplished. Look at the big blooming flower in the background. You know, this reminds me of the three women that came to visit me in the dream to tell me about my sacred marriage ceremony that was going to happen. Yeah, this is what it reminded me of. So this is wow, I want to say even it could be a gathering of women specifically. For the women out there, this could be like getting together with your sister tribe, so to speak, and supporting each other. But men, don't feel like you need to be left out. This could also just mean you're getting together and you're having a good time with your friends and family. I do know, for instance, what football game is going to be on Sunday. There's going to be a big football game. I guess that's pretty important. So if you're thinking about getting together for something like that, this is a good sign. But let's pull some more cards. 2 more cards to be specific. Okay, let's pull 2 more cards to see what the energy says about this. 3 of Cups. All right. Okay. That's part of the message. Tell us more. Tell us more about this 3 of Cups. What's the next part of the message? Tell us more about this 3 of Cups. Oof. Okay. You got the 2 of Rods. I love this card. You know why? Because it means you have full control over your own life and your own destiny. That you have worked hard enough now to where you have the ability, okay, to make the choices necessary to create the world that you want. I mean, that's what this guy is supposed to be holding. It's like a world. It's like a sphere, okay? But this is supposed to be a world. Okay. Like it may seem like there's 2 options, okay, because that's what 2s are about. Like, well, which way am I going to go? Which one? Which thing am I going to do? The truth of the matter is you already made your decision. That's why he's already holding a rod. Okay. Look at that. I'm noticing his hands too. His hands. Something special about his hands. Okay. Very interesting shape. Like it almost kind of reminds me of the swords a little bit. but it's not something like, I mean, for me, for instance, it would be like maybe that's all the energy from the light weaving that I do, perhaps. But for you, maybe that looks like and says something different. You know, so go ahead and take a look at that and feel into what that might mean for you. This guy looks like he's getting ready to go on an adventure. He's got this hat on. It just seems to me like a traveling outdoors hat. Like for me, like stay warm. If you're in a cold place, stay warm. They're definitely telling you to bundle up if you're going to go out and you're going to go to that social gathering. Okay, and you don't have to be so protected. You know, like this guy's got his shield. It's on his it's on his shoulder. It's on his arm. So he's not really feeling the need to be overly protective. Okay, maybe this could even be a crystal ball, right? Look to your dreams. I know Jupiter is, I forget what Jupiter is exactly doing right now, but I remember this video I watched said something about it'll bless your dreams. Jupiter is the planet that blesses dreams and gives you help through your dreams too. So I'm just going to throw that out there. Perhaps your dreams could shed some insight on the next step that you're meant to take. Okay, but either way, you have been given full control over how it is that you want to run your life, the places you want to go, the people that you want to see. Let's pull one more. Hey guys, what's the last part of the message? Activation. Okay. So I feel like what this is saying, you got the Page of Cups. Okay, now the Page of Cups is someone who has been kind of newly activated, so to speak, or perhaps not so much that you didn't like, not that newly activated in that you weren't activated before, but newly activated in the way that there are new psychic senses coming online, specifically having to do with emotions. But also in messages and how the heart communicates with you. Okay, like it's really gonna put that right in your face. You know, I also see this red flowy thing right here, this red draping off of them. It's like you have to let those flow. You have to actively let those emotions flow in you. Okay, because if it gets stuck, well, it looks like they're going to help you out. See, that's the thing. If it starts to get stuck, it looks like they're going to send you a messenger to help you to see when that is getting stuck. You know, the Page of Cups may have a hard time identifying between which emotions are theirs and which emotions are others. So this is coming into alignment with figuring out how to identify the differences between those things. Okay, it also can mean too, like considering this is connected to the Three of Cups and the Two of Rods. All right, like let's say you're going to go out for that social gathering, right? You decided, okay, like I could go out or I could not, but you know what? I think I'm going to go out. I'm going to do this thing, right? And then you're around all these people. You empathically feel all these things with them. Okay, and maybe you even take a little bit of it home with you. And now that cup needs to be emptied out. That's not even yours. Send that back where it came from, right? Make sure you clear your energy, clear your emotions, do a meditation, go into a silent meditation. You know, and in order to separate, in order to make sure that you stay clear so that you may keep getting the messages properly that God is giving you, your guides, your higher self, right? Okay. Listen, yep, I know. Okay, I know. I'm like, oh, there's a whole section we just missed. Fine, it's fine. It's fine. Anyway. Anyway, you want to make sure that you keep your emotional body clear because you got some new gifts coming through. You got some new abilities coming through, and it has to do with your emotions. But you have to make sure that you actively let them flow, especially if they're being inspired from your mind. That's what it is. It's like he's thinking about things and it's inspiring the emotional flow in him. And I feel like this guy is like, hey, what are you doing? You know, what are you thinking? What you feeling? The red color is activating. You know, you got the tulips over there too. Like, so this could be some energies that were like this activations that are happening for all of us here. Like this could continue on until May, because that's when the tulips blossom. So between now and May, because they're not blossomed fully yet, as you can see in the picture. Okay, so between now and May, just make sure that you do your meditations and that you ask your guides to show you what is yours and what is someone else's. Because they have a lot of feelings inside of them. It's just that, like I said, they don't always know how to identify which one is there. What even are the feelings? That's the other thing. It's like, what even are the feelings? What even are the feelings? Sometimes that's a little bit tricky to figure out as well. Could be a mix of them. You know, and then you get those on top of other people's feelings. It's like, oh, this is a hot mess. It could be. But ultimately, I get a good positive vibe from it about sharing with other people. I mean, sharing your emotions with other people, like this is a joyful event. You know, making a decision on how it is the next steps that you want to take in your life. You know, and being activated psychically, psychic activation. All right, so that's the energies for the next week. But you know, okay, I haven't been on here too long, have I? Okay, it doesn't even fucking matter. I don't even care how long I've been on here at this point because I'm having a good time. And so we're going to do a few more. Oh, no, I didn't see Astro. I knew you would have some things to say about this. I'm going to look real quick. Yes, sorry, I read Victor's comment first. TARDIS blue, I know, right? You know what I think? The heart, the high heart, symbolically is like a TARDIS, is what I think. I think the high heart. That's what I didn't read. The colors thing. Yes, they went into the colors of that. How the heart chakra changes colors when it's the high heart is activated. That it changes from green. I guess emerald green is the masculine. Okay, and then the new color that comes in is aqua blue. And so these colors mix and activates the high heart. And so the high heart is the blue flame. You know? But anyway. Okay, can you pull a card if silver is going up? Oh, we are getting vortex by Mars with snow. Snow is coming. Oh, it is? Oh, wow. Okay, bundle up, guys. Snow is coming. Jupiter is going to Cancer. That's why Jupiter is going into Cancer. I feel like it will, like the dream space is going to get, yes. All right, let's see. Wow. Oh, wow. That told you activation started 2017, telling you how many people like suddenly came into this community, you know, like you started waking up. Things didn't start adding up. 2017. Yes. That's crazy. And Venus just went into Pisces, and Nima says, okay. I have to feel what that means. Venus went into Pisces. Okay. Yeah. Which house, though? Might represent Venus retrograde. Mm-hmm. I wish I had read these as I was doing the card pull. I'm sorry, Nima. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Oh, wow. I'm so happy to hear that, Brayden. He says he just faced some fears and was rewarded with an elevated status here at work. Yeah, you know, it's fucked up because as I was, like I said, every day, like requesting, you know, in the astral for my guides to help me. I've been meditating on the Kolosk symbol that Anthony put out. I've been meditating on that. I've been holding that in my mind. That's like a flag almost, right? And I'll pull it from my memory. Yeah, and so I was driving and it was nighttime and some weird things kept happening. And it was like cars were like literally flashing their lights at my car for some weird reason. Like it's like people's car, and I'm like, are people doing that on purpose, or is this like their cars fucking up or something? Like it happened like 3 different times, and you know me, the rule of 3 here for me. And I'm like, so I was like checking my headlights. I'm like, do I have a headlight on or something? Like what's going on? And I started getting all afraid, right? And my guide stepped in, and they were like, see, they were like, we're just saying hi. We were just saying hi. They're like, see how afraid you get, like that. Like it's your automatic response is to just jump to fear, like you. Like, I have to get stronger. I have to be able to overcome these. You know, I have to. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, I can see where you get that from now, Nima, Venus and Pisces. So, yeah, overcoming fears is like the most important thing, honestly. It's the key to, one of the keys to living a meaningful life, a life that's exciting and full of things that you love. You know, the memories that you want to make. Like, do you really want to be on your deathbed thinking, oh man, I really wish I would have said this thing to that person. Oh man, I really wish I just had gotten up and taken that trip. You know, do you want to be that? Because let me tell you something. When you remember genetically, when you have a trauma that has stayed with you from another lifetime, where basically you didn't get to do those things, you didn't get to speak up and say what someone really meant to you. It haunts you. It'll haunt you for lifetimes. Is that what you want? Lose the fear. You know, say the things you're really thinking. You know how often people actually say the things that are actually in their mind? I'm not saying that's always like, you know, you're thinking like tons of bad things or good things. Like you don't want to say the bad things. I get that. You know what I'm saying? But that's when it comes to you have to learn to control your own thoughts. You know, you have to choose what you want to think, what inspires you to feel good. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not putting aside times where it's like natural experiences happen and now you have these negative emotions that you have to process and push them down. I'm not saying push those aside and choose to think about only those loving things. I'm not. But I'm saying, but in a time when those things aren't happening and you're being neutral and you want to create something in your life, you've got to daydream it, imagine it, make it a possibility in your mind, your body connection here, that it's even a possible thing. Because like I said, brain doesn't understand the difference between what you're imagining and what you're not. You know, got these other decks out. I was in the middle of saying something. It's about manifesting. You know, you have to get rid of those fears. Be willing to open up and tell people what they mean to you. Not just that though, like people are just so afraid. And as a telepath, this is what's shitty for me. As a telepath, when I'm around people, there's nothing more annoying when I'm around someone and I hear everything that they're fucking saying. And then they say something that's so completely not that. And then I find out later on that all the things that I was hearing them say was actually the things they were really thinking. And they didn't say those things. You know how annoying that can be? Because it happens. Okay, so I'm going to pull one Oracle Fairy deck one, or I'll ask. I'll just ask, guys. Oracle Fairy deck or Tarot or Adventure Time? Which one? No, you were fine. You were fine, Victor. You're absolutely fine. Most people don't. The thing I'm talking about honestly happens more with like, you know, people you're already close to. I hate feeling like I'm being lied to. You know what I'm saying? Like little things like people just being nervous around you and then their own insecurities going on in their own mind. Like, honestly, it just helps me because I'm able to reassure them that insecurity, they don't need to worry about that. You know, the thing is just going on about, like just recently, right? I was hanging out down in Florida, right, with one of the girlfriends that I have down there. And we were talking about Facebook and we were talking about how the algorithm and stuff works and stuff like that. And, you know, the little person's name that it shows up under your React, like how they figure that out, whatever. And as I was talking to her about this, literally saw a name right in front, like saw like a Facebook post and I saw a person's name. And so I just was like, stop. I was like, can I just tell you whose name I saw? I was like, can I just tell you who, are you thinking about this person? When I said all that, is this the thing that you saw? Is this the thing you first thought of? And she was like, like, yeah, and I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I know, I hear you. I see it. I hear it. I see it. There's no getting around that for me anymore. Okay, so let's see. Yeah. I hear you, Barry. I hear you. Okay, so back to what I was saying. Okay, before we go, Fairy Oracle or Adventure Time? Which one we want? Boop, 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 boop. Oracle. Ah, yay! Everyone said it. Okay, there we go. All right, this will be the last one, and then I will head out for the night. And then, yeah, like I said, you guys can look forward to the next stream where I get to start talking about the Flutter stuff, the Flutter side of it, all the crazy weird things that people can do. Different ways to communicate with people, different weird fucking astral experiences I've had, how those lined up. Yeah, boy. And the creation spreads, I didn't even talk about those that much anymore because I don't really make them as much anymore. I don't really, like before, the creation spread was more like the physical representation I needed in order to focus on what it was I was manifesting, right? But now I kind of can just do that in my head without it. But I still would like to. Creatively, I really enjoy that. Really enjoyed making those. Just haven't had a lot of time, a lot of spare time to do that. Please assist me doing this. For the cards, for the collective. Yeah. All right, we're back. We're back, guys. We're back. Here to bring your oracle card to you. That's me this time. Yeah. Okay. There's the collective over here. And the fairies. What's the collective over here? I want to get the whole deck in there. Okay. What does the collective? Boom. Nice. I feel like we got this card before. Let me know. Family harmony is on the bottom of it. Okay. I feel like I swear to God we got this part. We got this card before. Higher consciousness. All right. Oh, even Geraldine said fairy oracle card. Okay. Higher consciousness. Yeah. See, look, it's like it was easy to flip to that page. Swear we've gotten this one before. Yeah. Right. Oh, whatever. It does. It looks familiar. It looks very familiar. I know when I start to read this, it's going to be like, this is the same one. Okay. Higher consciousness. Card meaning. You are receiving guidance from your true self, your higher consciousness, which is one with divine universal wisdom. You are listening to love rather than fear. This card is a validation that your recent feelings, thoughts, dreams, and aspirations are coming from spirit. You have been asking for divine guidance, and your higher self has answered your prayers. Your spiritual path has helped you hear this voice because you have taken the time to listen. Perhaps you begun a meditation or yoga practice, and this has helped you quiet your mind, or maybe you've put your foot down to the universe and have adamantly decided to improve your life. Makes me think of the Two of Rods we just pulled. Whichever route you've taken is working very well. Now the fairies ask you to keep having conversations with your higher consciousness. This will involve carving out time away from the noise and stress. You may need to take frequent nature walks, join a spiritual support group, or go on a retreat. By quieting your life and your mind, the voice of your higher consciousness becomes increasingly loud and clear. It guides you perfectly through all life areas. Affirmation. I easily hear and understand the inner voice of spirit. That is very interesting, considering what I have been asking for, which is to line up my audio visual things. I need to be able to hear better, see clearer. I mean, I don't know how much clearer I can get when they're literally saying a fucking name of a song to me. You know, everything in its right place. Radiohead, Supermassive Black Hole, Muse. Like, I love it. Please don't ever stop. I'm just like, I live for the songs. Please give me more. Guide me. And you know, I did ask. I'm like, how is it possible? You know, like, how is this possible? The songs, how is this possible? Because we're in a realm, it's a holographic matrix realm, light matrix somehow. I don't know how else to put it. You know, it's like coding. This is what my guide basically said. It's like coding. I can just go in there and be like, because I'm outside of it. I'm outside the hologram. So outside the matrix. So I can send you these messages. I can send you these codes. Bada bing, bada boom. All right. Was there anything else? Outside of time and space. You're like Neo. Yeah, right? We all are, really. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, right? That's what I feel like I do. They've really brought in the freaking synchronicity. Like, you don't even know. I didn't even go over all of them. All those things. Because there's no way to go over everything. There's just no way. There's too much. I mean, I've literally divided it up into 5 parts now, and there's still more. I'm just like, oh my God. This is what they do. I mentioned them, really? During the time I mentioned the Melchizedeks, I mentioned the... I can't pronounce that. I wish I could. But how... I must have mentioned it, right? That was from the... Was it you talking about when I was reading from the Ascension Glossary? Paladorian's race, yeah. Okay, send me the video. Absolutely send me the video. Everything in its right place. All right. I think that might be all for today. I mean, I hate to leave just because there's so much fun stuff still. You're going to hate me when I tell you this, Nima, but I kind of want to tell you. You're not going to hate me, but you might be a little bit mad about this. Okay. So I've really been getting into Vedic astrology. Oh God, I've been getting into Vedic astrology and it makes so much more sense to me. I took school for Hellenistic astrology for a year and it made no sense to me. And now I go into Vedic astrology. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. You know, so I'm like, Nima's mentioning all these things and I'm thinking about it. I'm like, yeah. Like, because I've been listening to the Vedic astrology stuff, so I'm like, you're talking about what was it? But here's the thing. That's the thing about Vedic and Western astrology is like Leo is retrograding into Cancer. The same exact thing that's still happening in Vedic astrology is going into like the 12th house. I think it said Cancer was in the 12th house for all of us. And then it'll go back into Leo. Yeah. So anyway. Don't be mad at me. We can talk, but this is good because then we can talk about the different things between the two of them. All right, because you're supposed to come and see me, right? Still, so we'll have this to talk about. I'm kind of excited about it to have someone else to talk to about this type of weird stuff, especially since I'm really getting into it. Okay, anyway, let's get the fuck on out of here because I'm ready to go smoke a joint. Quite honestly, guys, I'm ready to smoke some weed. I'm ready. And you know what's really been great for me lately is that even though I smoke weed and I just can't stop, and but usually they don't let you remember your dreams, right? I still, yeah, right. I still remember. I'm remembering parts of my dreams, even with the weed. I was like, oh yay! I remember the little clip of the dream. And you know what's so weird is that last night's little clip of the dream, the dream element never showed up. I don't even know. Like, is this the first dream I've had in forever that didn't happen? Right? I had a dream that that there was an airplane, and the airplane was landing, and it was landing in a way to where it was like, and it was starting to like come down like that. It was in the air, right? And then it started to come down like this, and then slowly lean over like that. And there were a bunch of men, and they were gonna grab, like they're waiting for the plane to come down, and they were gonna gently put it on the ground. And I was like, what the fuck is that? What is that? That's a first weird clipping of a dream that I didn't have some explanation the next day that never lined up. I don't know. I guess I'll let you guys know next week if it eventually shows up. But, you know, yeah. I mean, that's what they told me after the sacred marriage ceremony, was that they're going to make all my dreams come true. That's what I feel like it was a guide trade-off. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I upgraded in my guides or something like that, because it felt like that when they came to deliver the message to me that I was the blue fairy, and that the way to ignite the heart of the blue fairy was to make all of her dreams come true first. How do you ignite the heart of the blue fairy? By making all of her dreams come true first. That's what they told me. That's how they said it. And I was like, what? I was like, crying. What? No way. Like, you guys can't do that. You really made all my dreams come true, and now they're still coming true. I just love it. I just love all you guys. I'm just so happy to be alive. I'm feeling all these weird things. Wonderful weird things. Feeling love. Wow. Humans fight this. How? Why? Why? I don't know. Anyway. Oh, my chart is aspecting Neptune like crazy right now. Oh, you're going to have to tell me more. You always see so much more than I do when it comes to that. I still am very basic. Vedic sometimes makes sense to you too. I just feel like I must have been more into Vedic in a past life. I just feel like that's where it's coming from. You know, just like with the, what is it? Come on. The Chinese information, medical stuff, time traveling stuff, incarnational stuff, having to do with astrology. I feel like it comes from that area, because that's where we originally landed, me and my group of people, right? I was in China. That's where I started. I've been here for millions of years, so I'm an ancient being at this point, and yeah, pulling off this crazy mission, this crystals realignment mission. You know, we're just living our best life. Okay. On that note, it is 9:53. I don't think I have anything else to talk about that wouldn't take another fucking hour or two, and I don't want to do that. Like I said, it's time to go smoke weed. Okay. It's time to go smoke weed. I'll be messaging some of you after the stream. You know the deal. I love you guys. I'll see you next week. And yeah, have a great weekend. Happy New Year. Here's to making all your dreams come true, guys. I'm trying to help. I'm here to help. Okay? Let's make some dreams come true. Let's live your best life. Make memories. Be brave. Be bold. Be fearless. And I'll see you next time.